I'll tell you a brief, funny, maybe not funny story. So I leave CNN, and there's a crazy website that posts an article saying I was arrested by military police. And then I have a fact-checking email, and I don't know whether to reply to the fact-checker and bother with this, right? Same website a month later says I've been executed at Guantanamo Bay. So the fact-checker emails me again. And I say, well, do you want to take my pulse? How do I disprove that I wasn't executed? And so to me, that is amusing and ridiculous.
Marc, it feels like some of this stuff is openly mocking us to our faces. Brian Stelter is a gigantic goober and always has been, really a feature that's been mocked pretty universally out there. Yet they bring him in to speak as some media expert. I feel like a lot of this is purposely rubbing it in the peasants' faces.
It really is. They get the most buffoonish, cartoonish individuals, rub them in our face as though we're supposed to be impressed. He has obviously straw man arguments. You know, I did a whole book on the Great Reset, and I assure you, there was nothing in it about Brian Stelter being put at Guantanamo. So he comes up with absurd scenarios of who knows what he's talking about, and that's how he debunks. There's no conspiracy about the WEF because, look, I'm still alive. And the idiot watching is like, oh, well, if Brian Stelter's alive, it must all be a hoax. This is the way they want to treat it. They're just trying to marginalize and diminish. But it's fascinating because at this World Economic Summit this week, you have all the major players. Now, there's some talk. People like George Soros may not be there. There was some health concern about Klaus, but he apparently is going to be. He is fine. Interesting that the high-class call girl escort services in Davos have been hit to the capacity, as well as the private jet airstrips there. And there's a lot of journalists on the ground who can attend. Remember, if you're a journalist, you can't get into this event unless you pay something like last year's with $35,000, and you have to be personally approved by the World Economic Forum. That guarantees there'll be not a single ounce of any critical media of this entire event this week.
For some reason, I doubt my pass would have been approved had I applied for one, Marc. All right, Marc, let me ask you. Stakeholder. We hear that a lot, stakeholder. Can you expand on that a little bit? Because they love to say it. And again, it's another one of those words that sounds so innocent, stakeholder. What do they mean?
Well, Klaus Schwab invented, when he started the 1971 World Economic Forum, he invented the concept of, or co-invented, the stakeholder capitalism. And what that means is, as stakeholders in a company, it doesn't really matter whether that company makes profit, makes loss, returns money to investors. What matters is whether any entity, company is doing good for the community and the nation. So what this has evolved into, stakeholder capitalism, it's really the end of capitalism. It's no longer about profit loss. It's about how your company adheres to essentially woke values. Black Lives Matter, critical race theory, transgender ideology, LGBTQ, climate, energy, environment, social governance. That is what they mean by stakeholders. In other words, every citizen on the planet who they now represent, this woke, progressive World Economic Forum vision is now the stakeholders representing all these people around the world, and it's no longer about profit loss. It's about implementing their agenda. So a company is no longer evaluated on this, and that's why every corporate board now quakes at the sight of progressive climate activists or LGBTQ or critical race, because they are bowing to that whole agenda. Stakeholder capitalism is catching on globally, and it's going through the EU like wildfire right now, and they want to now convert essentially the internet to that, and that's what they're working on. Again, anything you do that's not woke, as they define it, you can be banned, and that includes whether it's your text, your Gmail, your WordPress, your email service, your cell phones. They are literally taking this idea of the stakeholder capitalism all the way to the end game here.
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis, the history of FBI scandals, and America's worst presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.